The sun hung low over the cracked asphalt of Highway 287, bleeding orange into the endless Wyoming sky, when Jake Harlan first saw the sign. It was hand-painted on warped plywood, the letters bleeding from too many winters. Ranch for sale, $1. No phone number, no realtor logo, just a rusted arrow pointing down a gravel vein that disappeared between sagebrush hills. Jake's pickup, a '98 Ford with more rust than paint, rattled past it at 60, then slowed. He'd been driving for 3 days straight from Chicago, chasing a silence he couldn't name, running from a foreclosure notice and a voicemail from his ex-wife that still lived in his head like a splinter. $1. The absurdity hooked him harder than any sane offer ever could. He turned around. The road narrowed to 2 ruts, kicking up dust that coated his windshield in a fine red film. 10 miles in, the land opened into a bowl of golden grass, ringed by cottonwoods gone silver with age. The house crouched at the center, 2 stories of weathered clapboard, porch sagging like an old man's shoulders, windows blinded by decades of grime. A single chimney leaned, threatening to topple. Behind it, a barn the size of an airplane hangar gaped open, its doors hanging by 1 hinge each. No livestock, no vehicles, no sign of life except a lone hawk riding thermals overhead. Jake killed the engine. The silence hit him like a physical thing, thick, absolute, broken only by the tick of cooling metal. He stepped out, boots crunching on gravel. The air smelled of pine resin and something faintly metallic like old blood. In his pocket, the crumpled printout from the county clerk, parcel 17B. 640 acres, dated 1892, taxes unpaid since 2008. The seller was listed as Estate of Harlan, E. Same last name. Coincidence, probably. Jake had no family west of the Mississippi. He fished a crumpled dollar bill from his wallet, George Washington's face smudged from too many nervous thumbs, and tucked it under a rock on the porch steps. Possession is 9/10 of the law, he thought, and laughed at his own stupidity. Inside, the house breathed dust. Sunlight slanted through cracked panes, illuminating motes that drifted like slow-motion snow. The foyer opened into a living room where a stone fireplace yawned black and cold. Furniture remained. Horsehair sofa split at the seams, a rocking chair with 1 runner missing, a grandfather clock frozen at 3:17. Jake's footsteps echoed. He called out of habit, "Hello?" The word died against the walls. Upstairs, 4 bedrooms, each with iron bed frames and quilts moth-eaten to lace. One room held a child's rocking horse, paint chipped to bare wood, eyes staring at nothing. Jake's skin prickled. He'd bought a tomb. Downstairs again he found the kitchen. Copper pans hung from hooks, green with verdigris. A wood stove squatted in the corner, its belly stuffed with mouse nests. On the table lay a ledger, leather cover warped, pages yellowed. Jake opened it. Names, dates, head of cattle, prices per pound, entries spanning a century. The last page, dated October 31st, 1985, read, "Sold 200 head or 102 lb, paid taxes. E.H. dead, lock the gate." The handwriting was spidered, frantic. Jake closed the book. Outside, the wind picked up, rattling the loose pane in the back door. He stepped onto the rear porch. The view stole what was left of his breath. The land rolled away in waves of grass to a creek glinting like a blade, then rose again into foothills dusted with pine. No power lines, no cell towers, no contrail scars in the sky. Just space. Jake felt something loosen in his chest, a knot he hadn't known was there. He'd paid $1 for solitude, for a place to disappear. The realtor in Laramie had warned him the well was dry, the fences down, the house condemned. Jake had signed anyway. Let the world keep its noise. Night fell fast. He built a fire in the yard with scrap lumber, the flames painting the barn in flickering orange. Stars crowded the sky, more than he'd ever seen, sharp enough to cut. He ate cold beans from a can, washed down with warm beer. Sleep came in the truck bed, wrapped in a moving blanket, the Milky Way for a ceiling. He dreamed of footsteps in the house, light and quick, like a child running. Morning broke grey. Jake woke to the smell of coffee. Real coffee, not the instant sludge he'd packed. He sat up, heart hammering. Smoke curled from the chimney. Someone was inside. He grabbed the tire iron from under the seat and approached the back door, boots silent on the frost-stiff grass. The door stood ajar. He nudged it open with the iron. She stood at the stove, back to him, pouring coffee into a tin mug. Long black hair in a braid, thick as a rope, denim shirt rolled to the elbows, jeans tucked into scuffed boots. She moved with economy, no wasted motion. The kitchen looked different. Table cleared, floor swept, window cracked to let out steam. Jake's voice cracked. "Who the hell are you?" She turned. 25, maybe 30, skin sun-browned, eyes the color of winter sky, pale, piercing. A scar ran from her left temple into her hairline, thin and white. She didn't flinch at the tire iron. "Name's Rowan. You the one left $1 on my porch." Her voice was low, steady, with a drawl that placed her somewhere deeper in the mountains. "Your porch?" Jake lowered the iron but didn't drop it. "I bought this place. Deed's in the truck." Rowan sipped her coffee. "Deed's a piece of paper. Len don't care about paper." She set the mug down, crossed her arms. "Your last name Harlan?" Jake nodded, wary. "Then you're kin to Elias Harlan. He built this house in 1892, died in 85, same day he wrote that last entry." She jerked her chin toward the ledger. "I've been keeping the place since. Figured the bank would take it eventual, but they never sent anyone. Till you." Jake's mouth went dry. "You've been living here? Alone?" "Mostly." She opened a cabinet, took out a second mug, poured coffee. "Well's not dry, by the way. Pump's just finicky. Needs priming." She slid the mug across the table. "Sit! You look like you haven't eaten real food in a week." He sat. The coffee was strong, bitter, perfect. "Why didn't you buy it yourself?" "Didn't have $1. A smile ghosted across her face, gone before it arrived. "Besides, wasn't mine to buy. I was born here. My mother worked for Elias's grandson till he drank himself dead. She stayed on, kept the garden, the chickens. Died when I was 12. I never left." Jake studied her. The scar, the steady gaze, the way she held herself like someone who'd learned early that the world bites. "So what happens now?" Rowan leaned against the counter. "You want me gone? I'll pack. Got a saddle horse and a bedroll. But the fences are down, coyotes thick, and winter's coming. You'll lose the cattle you don't have yet. I know every inch of this land. Water sources, calving grounds, where the elk bed in September. You need me more than I need a roof." Jake laughed, a short bark. "You're offering to work for me." "I'm offering to stay. Wages negotiable. Room and board included." She paused. "And you fix the porch before it collapses." "I'm tired of stepping through the hole." He should have said no. Should have called the sheriff, had her trespassed. Instead, he heard himself say 1 month, trial basis. "Then we renegotiate." Rowan extended a calloused hand. "Deal." They shook. Her grip was iron. The first week was a blur of labor. Jake learned the well. Prime the pump with a bucket of water hauled from the creek, then work the handle till your shoulders scream. Rowan showed him the spring behind the barn, clear and cold, piped underground by Elias in 1920. They fixed fences, pounding posts into frost-heaved earth, stringing wire till their hands bled. Jake's city muscles burned. Rowan never complained. She cooked. Venison stew, cornbread baked in the Dutch oven, eggs from the dozen hens that materialized from the tall grass. At night, they sat by the fire, sharing silence and whiskey from a dented flask she produced from God knows where. He asked about the scar. She touched it absently. "Mountain lion. I was 16. Thought I could outrun it." She didn't elaborate. He didn't push. One evening, snow flurries danced in the air. They were in the barn, repairing the hayloft ladder. Jake's hammer slipped, gouging his thumb. Blood welled. Rowan took his hand without asking, wrapped it in a bandana. Her touch was clinical, gentle. "You're not built for this life," she said, "so neither were you once." She looked at him then, really looked. "Some of us don't get a choice." That night the wind howled like a living thing. Jake woke to the sound of the front door creaking. He grabbed the flashlight, crept downstairs. Rowan stood on the porch in her coat, staring at the sky. The Aurora Borealis rippled overhead, green curtains shot with purple. She didn't turn when he joined her. "Elias used to say the lights were the old ones dancing," she said. "His wife died in childbirth. He saw her in the sky every winter." Jake shivered, not from cold. You believe that? I believe the land keeps its dead, she faced him. Question is, what does it want with you? He had no answer. The next morning he found the dollar bill on the kitchen table, folded into a tiny crane. Rowan was nowhere in sight. He searched the barn, the corrals, the creek. Her horse was gone. Panic clawed his throat. He saddled the spare gelding, a raw-boned bay she'd called Ghost, and rode out, following tracks in the fresh snow. He found her at the northern fence line, staring at a break. Beyond it, the land sloped into a canyon he hadn't explored. Fresh prints, large, clawed, crossed the wire. Bear, maybe grizzly. Rowan's rifle rested across her saddle. You left, he said, voice rough. Needed to think. She didn't look at him. This place, it changes people. Elias went mad at the end. Thought the house was talking. Maybe it was. Jake dismounted. You're scaring me. Good. Now she met his eyes. You bought more than land, Jake. You bought a debt. The Harlans took something. Water rights, maybe. Or blood, I don't know. But it's not done with you. He wanted to laugh it off. Instead, he asked, what do we do? We pay it. She swung back into the saddle. Starting with fixing this fence before something bigger than coyotes comes through. They worked till dusk, hands numb, breath fogging. When they rode back, the house lights glowed. Rowan had wired a generator to the porch bulb. Inside, the fire crackled. She'd left a note on the table. Stew's on, eat. Then we talk about the canyon. Jake ate, standing up, staring at the dollar crane. He unfolded it. On the back, in pencil, the girl living inside isn't the only one. Snow fell thick that night. Jake lay awake, listening to the house settle, to Rowan's quiet breathing in the next room. He thought of Chicago, of fluorescent office lights and the smell of copier toner. He thought of the foreclosure, the divorce papers signed in blue ink. He thought of Rowan's scar, of the way she'd looked at the sky. In the morning, the canyon called, but that's another chapter. If this story gripped you, the dust, the mystery, the slow burn of two broken people finding something worth fighting for, then hit that subscribe button. Ring the bell. We're just getting started. The ranch has secrets buried deeper than the well, and Rowan's about to show Jake what it really means to own a piece of the past. You won't want to miss what happens when the snow seals them in and the canyon starts whispering back. Subscribe now